you have to realize that you've been hit. And so
Mm.
I use the illustration of Muhammad Ali fighting Sonny Liston, and then people
Yeah.
debate about it. Did Liston take a dive, or
Oh.
was he really hit?
Mm.
And so they call it the phantom punch.
Mm.
And so even though everybody didn't see it, I forgot the kind of punch Ali said it was, but it
Huh.
was the kind of punch that you could be like about 2 inches away, but you put all your weight into it, and when you hit somebody, they're going to feel it.
Hmm.
I.e., Liston. And so I think that for a church and a congregation, you have to realize that they did suffer a blow. You
Mm.
were hit.
Yeah.
This is not within the normal rhythms of life.
Yeah.
This is like the children of Israel being taken captive from Israel to Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
What you've experienced, what you've learned in Israel, how you've experienced Yahweh in Israel, how you walk with God in Israel.
Yeah.
Now you take this to a foreign place and you do this.
Yeah.
It was a hard transition. Like, even how the scripture says, they were asking the psalmist to sing, and they said, no, we hung our harps up on the willow
Yeah.
trees.
Mm.
And how can we sing in a strange land? So
Yeah.
there's that dislocation of the heart. So once you realize that you've been hit, kind of the process that I think the church has to go through is where you things are, you understand when things were regular. That's when it's kind of like home sweet home. And then there's kind of a slight recognition that things are changing. It hasn't really hit you yet, but things are changing. And then there's the realization, and wow, things are different. Things
Mm.
are different. And
Yeah.
then what happens after that? I mean, I did this. I've talked to people that have done this. We had community movements to do this. You want to try to reconstruct things and make them the way that they were, right? The
Right.
way that they
Right.
were.
Right.
And there's some elements you may be able to do, but you're not going to be able to bring everything back. You can't get the property back. You can't
Yeah.
bring back those business, so forth. And then
Yeah.
you go through your rage. And in the book I go more detailed in all
Yeah.
these, obviously.
Sure.
And then you go through your rage and you work through that. And then you go through a process of reconciliation where you are able to find a place of peace. And I say
Yeah.
that not with a peace that just says, this they were passive, and we're not trying to do anything to change the situation, but a
Yeah.
peace that you can say, okay, all right, God, what do you want to do? And then that
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
after that, the church can begin to revamp its strategy
Yeah.
to engage
Yeah.
its community again. Because I'm just being honest with you. How are you going to reach out, and how are you going to share the love of God to people you're mad at?
Yeah.
You took
Yeah.
my neighborhood. How are you going to be
Right.
redemptive to people that it's
Right.
kind of like Jonah. Jonah's like, I'm not going to go and preach to Assyria. You know what Assyria did to
Yeah.
did to us, and you want me to
Yeah.
go tell those people, God, so you can be
Right.
merciful? I mean,
Right.
Jonah had a hard time, and
Yeah.
so there's some Jonah-esque,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what's taking place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.